I'm your host, Mr. Pagan, the host with the most, the host that's always doing the most. You know, I go through it, man, every day. Every day is something new. Every day it's an opportunity to move forward, get past things that happen in life from the past. You know, but doing these podcasts, man, it's a hell of a thing because you get to keep records of all the things that happen. You know what I mean? All the things you've been through, all the accounts, you know what I mean? All the recollections that you may have had while you did these podcasts. And that's powerful. You know what I mean? I stayed up late last night. I stayed up way past 4 in the morning, just, you know, doing promotions for the podcast. You know, a lot of you don't know, but I've been, over the past year or so or more, I've been going through a lot. You know, a lot of you, you know, don't have my personal accounts. You know what I mean? Wasn't there with me personally while I was going through these things, but I tried my best to document it and put it on this podcast. I'm trying to get some of that light bleed out of it. There you go. Because this is not my real background. This is a little background so you can't see my real background. Okay, that works. You know, through it all, through everything that I've been through everything that I've been put through everything that I learned and that I noticed, you know, it's like I just thank the Creator. I thank the God above for being able to maintain me, for being able to maintain who I am. You know what I mean? My sense of humor, my wittiness, my allowing me not to go overboard or overstep my boundaries in any type of way that would have took my freedom away from my children. You know, from me being able to create, new podcasts, new music, new books, and everything like that, man. Actually, I've been thinking about doing movies as well. You know what I mean? With all that I've been through, all the stuff that's on this podcast, all the stuff that I went through in my life growing up, on a day-to-day basis, it's movie worthy. You know what I mean? I don't even have to write a script. The script writes itself through this podcast. I didn't have a clear, concise idea of what this podcast would be or where would it take me. You know what I mean? When I started it, it was just merely about, not merely, because it was just simply about the concept of the duality of life. You know what I mean? And understanding that we walk in 3 realms at one time. We have the spiritual realm, we have the physical realm, and then we have our mental realm, which we create out of our intellectual property. The duality of life come in, when you think about the duality of different concepts, how you see a thing, how you perceive what you go through on a daily basis, and understanding that there's a duality to each aspect of the realms that we walked in. There's a duality to the spiritual realm. There's a duality to the physical realm. There's a duality to that intellectual realm, that mental realm, the realm of thought. All these realms have a duality to it. Understanding where you fit in the duality of each realms is a task in itself. Not to mention just realizing that you're walking in 3 realms at one time, because we get so caught up in the physical realm that we forget about the spiritual. We get so caught up, some people get caught up so much in the realm of spirituality that they forget about the physical realm, you know. And some people, get caught up in that mental realm, in the mind, you know. There's a lot of practices, a lot of spiritual practices like Buddhism, uh, being a monk, when they sit there for so long and they just, you know, that's more of a spiritual realm and a mental thing with them, living in that mental realm and using the mental realm to explore the spiritual realm, and it's a deep thing, man. You can channel, harvest, navigate, manifest a lot of good, being in tune with each realm you walking in at one time, being in the center, having a duality and understanding these things. You can find you can manifest a lot of greatness. But there's people out here. There's organizations that use this type of thing for evil. They don't use it for good. They'll use the fact that we're spiritual beings, that we're intellectual beings, that we're physical beings. They'll use that against us because they know your nature. They know your very nature. So they can in turn use those type of things against you. When you're not in tune with yourself, when you're not in tune with the creator, when you don't understand how the dichotomy works, the societal dichotomy that we live in works. I coined a phrase. Um, the phrase is legal organized crime. Now, I guess I could coin another phrase right now: spiritual organized crime. And there's nothing legal about spiritual organized crime because spirituality is something you can't put a law on. You can't put a law on the spirit of a person. You can't put a statute or lock somebody up for their spirit. But many organizations, they try to get you to do things physically, to hurt you or to hurt others. They try to, to be able to lock you up physically. So this way they can enslave that spirit that's in you. You know what I mean? And it's, man, I see it, and they made it so prevalent to me. Made it so obvious that this has been going on in my grandmother's life and my mother's life, in turn in my life and in my children's life. So this podcast turned from, me talking about the spiritual things to me using this podcast as an avenue to create something that would hopefully, get me out of this state, not just physically, mentally, and spiritually as well, you know, because the state has done so much wrong, to me and my family for so long. They place handlers in your life. They use your nature, they use your hobbies and things that you like to do against you. They use people that you love and that you respect and that you trust against you. You know what I mean? They can manipulate all of these people, places, and things. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so guarded, and I keep my guard up so much, because it's hard for me to really trust somebody when I know that at any moment this person could basically start working against me. You know what I mean? You kind of have to deal with people that can't go against you but so much. You know what I mean? I.e., your children. You know what I mean? You're never going to go against your children and things like that. I mean, yeah, tempers may flare at times because they might be going through their things and you're going through your things, but the love is there. The love is genuine because these are your children. These are genuinely your children. So, you know, they tend to be who I trust more than anybody, but other than that, I really don't have much trust for man, women, anybody. I It's just not there. Anytime, you know, I could grow up with people, I could grow up with people and they could still find it in their heart to you know, turn their back on me or stab me in the back, worse, you know, try to set me up and different things like this. Um, it's dead real, man. It's evident. I had my entire family turn their back on me, stab me in the back, backbite me, and all types of shit, slander my name, knowing that I'm trying to do something with my life, not just for me, for my children. You know what I mean? And when you see physically who's doing all this stuff in your life, it's like you actually could put a face to who's opposing you, right? But you got to remember, they work for somebody. They work for someone. Who are they working for? That's the real question. I want to find out, who exactly are they working for? You know what I mean? When you go poking around at the different organizations and things like that, it don't get no better for your situation. It hasn't got any better for my situation. So if I could give anybody advice dealing with these things, out there, you know what I mean? Because I know I'm not the only one. I'm probably one of the many few who notice these type of things going on in their life, but I'm definitely not the only one. You know what I mean? We're all livers of life here. You know what I mean? We're all free thinkers, free minded people trying to live our life, in the best way we know how. Um, the best advice I can go give to anybody is just stay aware, man. Stay aware of your surroundings. Keep the ones that you love and that you know love you. Keep them close. Stay close to them. You know what I mean? And another thing is you're gonna find out that people that you was raised with, people that may have raised you, was complicit in all of this. They allowed whatever in them to tell them or send them a message to go against you or stab you in the back or do you wrong or slander your name. They allowed, whatever entity or whatever, thing we're in to use them. They was weak minded enough to let it or them use them to go against you. So stay away from those people as much as you can. Stay away from people that can allow themselves to be manipulated to the point where they're hurting you in your life. Because me personally, it's like I can't do wrong to a person that I love. I can't. I can't stab a person that I love in the back. My loyalty is through the roof. My compassion is through the roof. You know what I mean? All of that. So if you're a loved one of mine, I don't care if you're a parent or whomever, a grandparent, uncle, aunt, cousin, sister, brother. Once you show that you can be turned on, like you can actually be a person that'll turn on me for nothing, basically. It's like I can't deal with you at that point. Anytime you could shun me, ostracize me, or just, you know, stab me in the back or whatever it is, talk shit about me behind my back. It's like, at that point you have to be mindful of what they did. I mean, you have to forgive. You know, forgiveness is not for the person that's giving it to. I mean, forgiveness is not for the person that's receiving it. Forgiveness a lot of times is for you, the person that's giving it, because it allows you to move forward and move on and grow and learn, you know. And it's a duality of that, you know. It's the fact that, you know, if you want forgiveness, you have to forgive, you know, just like grace and mercy. How do we experience God's grace and mercy if not through each other? God's not here personally to grant grace and mercy to me or to you, but the creator God is here in us. So we have to be the ones to extend that grace and mercy. You know, I can't turn to God for grace and mercy, you know, unless I'm turning to another person for grace and mercy. Or in prayer, I could pray to God and ask for grace and mercy, you know. But once a person stabs you in the back, man, it's just going to be a while before they do it again. You know, it's like the frog who let the scorpion ride on his back across the pond. The scorpion is in his nature to sting people. You know what I mean? And the frog say, "Hey," the scorpion asked the frog, "Hey, can I get a ride across the pond on your back, man? You know, I'm gonna die if I stay on this side. Please, let me get a ride on your back." The frog said, "Hey, I give you a ride, but you better not sting me. We're both going to drown if you sting me. Please don't sting me." Scorpion say, "I wouldn't dare think about stinging you, man. Just let me get a ride on your back, please. I'll pay you back. Thank you so much." So they halfway across the pond. When next thing you know, the frog felt the sting on his back. He said, "What was that? Did you just sting me?" Scorpion said, "Yeah, man, I just stung you. I apologize, man." He said, "You know we both going to drown now. We both going to die. Why would you sting me?" The scorpion said to the frog, "I'm a scorpion. It's what I do. I can't help it. It's in my nature to sting people." So once you notice a person's nature, once you see who they are, trust them to be them. Trust them to be exactly who they showed you that they are. That's what it is. And it's sad because sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's your grandparents, sometimes it's your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, sometimes it's your entire family, man. I hate to tell you, but at that point, you just got to cut them all off. Because they're going to cut you all off. They're going to cut you off quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know, especially if it's for $1, especially if it's for some money, or if they're going to come up from it, they're going to cut you off quick, fast, and in a hurry. I've been there. I'm still there right now. You know, I've been cut off, been ostracized, been conspired against, been exploited, uh, all types of shit. Set up, ran them up, bamboozled, you hoodwinked. You know what I mean? All of that shit. And it's like, you know, the family values ain't there. You know, I guess family don't matter. Remember that show on TV, Family Matters? Yeah, man. But that's what it is. You know, I hate going through the same spill and everything. I want my podcast to be more positive, you know, more, you know, problem solving, talking about the different issues in the world and things like that, so we could try to come up with a solution for a lot of these issues and things, you know, because I'm a great thinker. You know, I think on a higher level, you know. Um, and I guess, you know, here I'm doing that. You know, I'm giving you solutions for problems that you may have in your life. You know, um, I'm telling you and letting you know that you're not the only one that's going through these type of situations in life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who won't speak up and won't talk about things like this. You know, and me going through all this, I've been through the ringer, man. I thought it was one thing and then it's another thing. I thought it was another thing, then it's another thing. And I've been ring around the rosy, man. You know what I mean? And I haven't fallen down. I haven't fallen down. I'm still standing. I'm still kicking. I'm still screaming. I'm still making music. I'm still doing this podcast. I'm still uh, writing books and giving you books, even though I have had writer's block. I'm not going to lie about that. But I have books in the work, because I'm only one person. I'm only one person trying to navigate the podcast world. I'm trying to navigate the publishing author world. I'm trying to navigate the music industry, and what's been going on there. And I'm gonna try to make each video directed to a certain avenue of my creative endeavors. That way I'm not all over the place, because this podcast has to be more uniform. You know what I mean? When I want to talk about music, I want it to be strictly about music. Not the bullshit that I'm going through. Nothing else to go with it, even though bullshit comes with music. But on those days when I'm just talking about music, I'll talk about the music side of the bullshit. Um, those days when I'm talking about the podcast, it'll be strictly podcast growth and things that I'm learning and things like that, different topics, different subjects, and I'll stick on that. And when I'm talking about the books, speak about the books, speak about my growth in that and different projects and different writings that I'm doing. You know what I mean? I want to break it down. And when I do want to dive into all the conspiracy stuff, because at this point with me, there is no conspiracy theories. At this point with me, I see it all, man, and it's like I seen it all, and I done been through it. And you know, a conspiracy theory to me is just somebody that's still thinking about the theory of conspiracy. When conspiracy is not a theory, conspiracy is very real. Exploitation is very real. And they do it to us all the time through this life that we live. You know, it's an act. You know what I mean? To them, anyway. To them, it's a game. Your life is a game where they could control it and manipulate it. And if you have money, if your family has money, then yay for you. But guess what? In a way, you're still being manipulated, because all of us walks this life, and some of us never get to see life from two point of views. Some of us only get a one-sided view on life, because you're never put in any type of through any type of scrutiny. You know, if you're born with a silver spoon in your life, you never know what it feels like to be a poor man. Unless somebody stripped you of all your money. And at that point, some people just kill themselves if they can't live the way that they used to live. If they can't do the things they used to do, if they're going through something, they allow that to make them take their own life. And that's something that's never forgiven. You can't do that. You know what I mean? I think your soul goes into purgatory whenever you do things like that. So you can't kill yourself. And that's hard for me to say, because I got a brother that committed suicide. I'd say that. I don't say that with a light heart at all, because I've experienced suicide vicariously. And you know me understanding what I know about suicide is like, uh, I never did it myself, so I don't know what's on the other side of that door. But I'm not going to find out. God damn it. You know what I mean? Somebody going to have to, do that one. Hopefully not. God forbid. You know what I mean? I want to live. I want to live to see my kids have kids. I want to live to see my children's children have children. And I want to be around and producing and helping them manifest greatness in their life. Just like I should have had somebody helping me manifest greatness in my life. You know what I mean? Um, I've been abused a lot of my life, man. A lot of my life, I just been used and fucking abused by the very people that turned their back on me. You know, it's a sad thing. You know, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Life goes on. But this has been my episode of God Concept, excuse me. I hear my son downstairs, so I'm gonna get off here real quick. But listen, um, support the books, support the music, support the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Don't be shy. You know what I mean? I could deal with constructive criticism. I'm my own worst critic. So anything you got to say is just merely your point of view, and I could deal with that. You know, I respond in things like that. Yeah, going through a lot, and I'm gonna keep this podcast going, and I'm gonna give you updates on my situation as it unfolds, and everything that I'm going through with the city of Philadelphia, and you know, that's that. My name is Mr. Pagan. Well, my legal name is Mark Pagan Jr. I come to you as Mr. Pagan to do this podcast, and you guys enjoy your day. Love you all. Peace.